What's going on, everyone? It's Martina Sellers, your mental health hygienist, coming to you live and always in living color in Southern California. I wish I could say where the sun is always shining, but it is raining in the new year, and that means these showers are bringing us lots of new growth in the new year. And I am so happy that you are joining us today. Can you tell my excitement on our very first show for Wellness Wednesdays with my co-host, none other than the beautiful Reverend Dr. Margarita Story. Come on in the house. Margarita, baby, you're
Hey
looking
there,
good.
my brother. How are you,
How are
sweetheart?
I am well. Hold on, you're looking too good. Hold on. I gotta step up my game with you, baby. Hold on.
What,
There we go.
honey?
New
Bring
year,
it.
new
Bring
look.
it. Bring
Yes,
it.
yes.
I'm loving that hat, Marty. Happy New Year to you, beloved.
Happy New
You
Year to
and the
you.
whole family. I pray God's best is yours in this new year. So grateful that we're
Amen.
starting this year out together. I love
Yes.
and appreciate you. And I'm
Oh my God,
excited
so do I.
about what's going to
Likewise.
happen as we move forward.
Like you are looking radiant over there, just beautiful as always, baby. You keep it together.
Baby,
And I ain't
thank you for
mad.
lying to me. I needed to hear that lie today.
I can't with you, Dr. Story. I can't. Listen, we are holding it together for our
Yes.
mid 50s, baby. We're going to pose for the camera.
Talk,
Let's just,
talk, sugar. And they keep saying that
yes,
50s is the new 30s.
baby, it is.
Now,
It's
I don't
something.
want to be
Because,
30 again, but I'll take
no,
50
no,
again.
ma'am. Yeah, exactly. But I think it speaks to us, and you and I, we encourage each other. And I thank God for you and how you've
Thank you.
come back into my life and we've known each other, good God, for over 25 plus years. And
Yes.
what a blessing that has been. And I appreciate that we are looking after the wellness. So I'm glad about our show together because it really
Yes.
is about being well and in a holistic manner, not just being
Yes.
spiritually well, not just being physically well, not just being mentally well, not just being financially well, but the wholeness of it and how we encompass all parts of that so that we're complete and whole as a person. And that's what's so
Yes.
vital.
Yes,
It
I,
really,
I
really
agree with
is.
you. And I believe it takes others, just like it takes you
Yes.
checking in on me to make
Yes.
sure that just those checkups, just like we do with the dentist and the doctor, or just like we
Right.
do on
Right.
our jobs, just to have a checkup to make sure that things are well. And I pray that those that are coming along with us on this journey,
Right.
they find our Wellness Wednesdays as a checkup. And I hope that it
Yes.
enables them to sit down for a moment and check in with
Right.
themselves as well. Yeah.
That's so imperative that we learn to check in on each other and get
Yeah.
past it because, life is short. Things are changing constantly, and we have to
Yes.
make sure that we are checking on each other. As I was checking on a dear friend, my prayer partner, as he's been losing weight, Dr. Story, his medication, are you ready for this? The old dosage for his blood pressure pill now has become too strong. And so he was having these heart challenges and ended up in an emergency room because it felt like he was having a heart attack. So when he was doing a med check, they found and said, listen, we can't give you this same dosage because your
Yes.
weight now has gone off. So it's lowered some other things. So he's taking a half of that. That's a point to celebrate. We celebrate one,
Oh,
that it didn't
yes.
kill him. Yes, yes. But we
Yes.
celebrate that now he only has to take half it because he's focusing on his wellness. And I'm going to challenge us to
Yes.
focus on our wellness in 2023. Can you believe we're in
Yes.
2023 already?
No, Marty, I can't believe it. It just feels like this train is just moving
It's
fast, and we
moving.
got to catch up with it. And it's a before you know it kind of thing. That's why I love this Wellness Wednesdays idea
Yes.
that God gave us, and we're
Yes.
beginning to walk it out, where it enables us to take a breath for a moment and
Yes.
slow down and become kind of
Yes.
reacquainted with ourselves and what's going on with us.
Hmm. That's so important. That's so important. So, can we remind people of how we are doing the wellness? I know we talk about, first of all, our topic, and then we kind of go
Yes,
into the talk, and then we always want to leave with the tips. And I appreciate you.
yes.
You know, I love alliteration because I'm not that smart. So that helps me to remember that. So, Dr. Story, I appreciate you today. And you came up with this amazing topic for today. So, can you introduce our topic we will be talking about today on this my Wellness Wednesday? Almost blew it, but
Well,
yes.
our topic for today, right? Our topic for today is mindfulness.
Yes.
Mindfulness. We'll hear that you need to be mindful of what you say
Yes.
or mindful of what you do.
Yes.
But even within our
Yes.
wellness, Marty, I'm
Yes.
discovering that we need to be mindful. And so that's our
Mindful.
topic. We've got to be mindful of our own
Yes.
wellness. We've got to be mindful of
Yes.
that. So that's our topic. And so let's go on and start talking about it. Can I define what I found out
I would love for you.
about it, and
Yes.
then you could take it because I'm telling you, this is your wheelhouse. What I
Listen,
found
this is a
out was, huh?
uh-huh. No, I say this is
Oh,
great. I love it. Go right ahead.
yes. What I found out though was that mindfulness is a mental state that is
Mm-hmm.
achieved by focusing on oneself in the present. And it gives
Right.
us the opportunity to acknowledge and to
Yes.
accept our feelings in the right now,
Mm-hmm.
our thoughts, and even our bodily sensations. Marty, that thing messed me up because I thought about some opportunities that I missed to be
Mm-hmm.
present for
Mm-hmm.
myself when I was going through grief or some stressful
Yes.
circumstances where
Yes.
I felt the pressure, but I wasn't mindful enough to acknowledge that it
Right.
was there,
Right.
to acknowledge the thoughts that partnered with it or any bodily
Mm-hmm.
sensations that I had.
That's
And so,
beautiful.
talk to us about that with this therapeutic understanding of our wellness as well.
Yes. I love that, especially mindfulness. Mindfulness is really, it's become a part of the CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy approach. And with cognitive behavior, it's mind over mood. Let me say that cognitive behavioral therapy, one of the biggest concepts that we push is mind over mood. In other words, let me be mindful first and foremost of the mood, not only be mindful of the mood, but mindful for where the mood sits in my body, because it sits different areas and different places. For me, I get mindful when I start to stress. I know when I'm really stressed out because I feel it on the back of my neck and on my shoulders. And when I'm doing this a lot, I know that I've have a lot of stress, so I need to release a lot of that stress. So
Yeah.
mindfulness says this: I am now, it really is geared for stress reduction and anxiety
Okay.
reduction
Okay.
in a
Okay.
lot of those areas. And so we want to we give mindful journals, we have mindful worksheets that we're looking at. When do I get stressed? How often do I get stressed? Is it certain times of the day, certain times of the month, certain times of the year? Not only of when, what do I feel when I'm feeling
Hmm.
this stress? Is
Hmm.
it my heart beating fast? Is it my hands sweating? Is it me getting nervous and can't keep my legs still? You know, where am I feeling it? And exactly what am I feeling? Am I feeling it in my stomach and I'm feeling nauseous? What am I
Hmm.
feeling? And so that's being now mindful. And one of the things I then start to do to myself, even to this day, is I will say, does this feeling and what I'm feeling and where I'm feeling match the circumstance or the situation that is occurring at this moment? Because if they're not congruent, either I need to change the situation or I need to change the feeling, or best part of
Yeah.
all, I need to change both.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
But you're mindful. And so
Mm-hmm.
then you can make some adjustments because
There we
you're
go.
mindful. And I'm
We're mindful.
loving what you're sharing because that's a tool that we can really
Yes.
use for ourselves in order for us to achieve maybe a calm in
That's
the
right.
midst of
That's
something
right.
that's going on, or begin to help to manage ourselves
That's
as
it.
we're moving forward, so we can get a hold of those tips and other
Y-
tools that might
Yes.
be right in our toolkit to help us to survive. But I was thinking about, even with my mom transitioning
Mm-hmm.
and other
Mm-hmm.
losses or things that I've experienced in my life. But then I've also, when I was looking at mindfulness, I really struggled to remember the installation weekend when you guys came
Mm.
out for that,
Right.
because
Right.
I didn't have a lot of time to be
To
mindful
sit
of.
in it. Yes.
I, Marty,
Yeah. And a lot of times
I don't know if I was excited. I don't know. I
right.
didn't have that chance.
But Dr. Story, even think about it. Most people in their weddings, what I'm so mindful of this now, that it's a blur because everything is happening so fast, and that's so much of the life that we live. Everything is constantly in fast and quick motion till we never take the time to stop and enjoy the roses, smell the flowers. And I will challenge a lot of my patients. Let's sit in this emotion. Let's be mindful of what we're feeling
Yes.
and why we are feeling it. And I will purposely slow, even in tough situations, in painful situations. Let's feel this pain.
Yes.
Let's
Yes.
examine why
Yes.
we're feeling this pain, and where are you
Marty, and
feeling it?
that's so profound. That's so profound.
Hmm.
Why are we feel? But then to allow myself the permission to feel the
Yes.
sadness, or the disappointment, or
Yes.
whatever it is. And so you're saying
Yes.
that in being mindful, we're actually giving ourselves permission to be
Permission.
in that
There we
place
go.
that we find ourselves in.
Right, because a lot, and I'll say it this way, my feelings about black men, because oftentimes we're not given
Yes.
permission to feel
Yes.
things. The only thing we're given permission is to be angry, to be over
Yes.
sexualized, to be used for entertainment, or to be a buffoon. But we got to look at the
Yes.
strong single mom who is trying to do everything, being the mom and the dad. I think there's a problem with that because you can only be one,
Yes. Yes.
and in that role you're to be the mom. But mothers and single moms are not allowed permission to sit in the hurt, because if they do, now they're considered weak, and now they're a damsel in distress and all this. Like, no,
Yes.
I'm not a damsel in
Yes.
distress. I'm this strong warrior. But even warriors, even soldiers need time to be taken out of the traumatic situation to reflect in a time and a place of peace where they can process everything and then regroup and regroom and get the necessary strength and help that they need in order to continue in life.
Wow, man, you listen. Listen, that's amazing. And so being mindful is something
Yes.
that is a gift that we actually get to give to
Yes.
ourselves. Now, Marty, I want to ask a
Yes.
question: is, in our mindfulness, is that like an exercise or something that we need to incorporate into our everyday living? Or maybe we shouldn't wait maybe to the end of the day. Should we be mindful in the midst of our days? Or what would you suggest to us as
Yes.
our mental hygienist?
Let me go back because you're absolutely right. I want to first address some of the benefits of mindfulness, and then let's go into what some of this looks like, because we a lot of times we don't know what mindfulness. I do mindfulness checks throughout the day, several times throughout the day, just to
Awesome.
ground me in so many ways. So some of the benefits of just the mindfulness, one is mental clarity, because now I'm
Mm,
slowing things down, so I'm not feeling the pressures. I go, hold on, let me just take a moment to breathe, be mindful of the
mhm.
situation and the circumstance, so I can gain clarity. And so now I'm
Wow.
responding as opposed to reacting to certain
Yes.
situations. So mental clarity, and then there's
Love that.
also the part of improving your working memory too often when we don't have mental clarity, we can't expect our working memory to be intact. And so as a result of that, our working memory is lopsided and cattywampus because our mental clarity is just as crazy, and it's just this huge disarray and confusion. I always say it this way: we got to get out of the culture of chaos.
Marty, you messing with me. So you're saying that there is a working memory. So you're not talking
Hmm.
about us achieving things during the day on our job. You're talking about the memory that works for us throughout our day.
Yes,
So that forgetting what we did with our phone
there you go. There
is,
you go.
is something about
Exactly.
our working memory or where our pen is.
Exactly. I got by today. I got it today. But think about it. How, and I'm guilty of that. I am always losing my keys. And part of the problem is I will come in the house sometimes and just be frazzled. Get Tony out of the car, get this going, trying to get some dinner, trying to jump on a show, trying to do this, get her bathed, get her do homework and all that. And I would just, will drop off something, and then it'll take me twice as long. In fact, I lost my office keys for a whole week. And you ready for this, Margarita? Dr. Story, it was in the very backpack that I carried every day.
Wow. So that working memory was affected because of
Yes,
your inability to be mindful in the
that's right.
moments. And,
Yes.
Marty, I think you're helping us more than you even can believe, because I don't believe you're the only one that's doing that.
Right.
But I believe though that that may have some far-reaching ramifications in that
Mm-hmm.
when we are not able to have the strength of our working memory, then we're
That's right.
operating in a lot of frustration that may not have
Yes.
anything to do with the circumstance, other than we can't remember because we weren't mindful.
Yeah. So now
My
you
goodness.
see you're headed down on a whole nother street. With on the right street though, because now we have irritability. We're snapping back and all that because we didn't take the time to guard our mental wellness and our mental clarity, therefore causing this whole thing of lack of working memory, and then as a result of that, our stress level increases. But if we're doing this whole thing of mindfulness, it helps to reduce our stress levels. And that's a part of it. And finally, it gives us better emotional regulation. And so those are the benefits of
Don't you dare.
mindfulness.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Don't you dare run
I was
past
trying to
that
move past
emotional
it.
regulation. Don't you dare.
Yes.
What you're saying
Yes.
that we can actually control our emotional responses or emotional
Yes.
reflexes if we are
Come on.
mindful.
Yes.
Don't you run past that. Don't you run past that, because many times I think in the moment we're reacting and responding,
There
and
you
our
go.
reflexes are going
That's
all
it.
out of the way, and sometimes we feel like we're acting out of character because we're not mindful of what's going on with us in that moment. Marty, you got to
I think
help
it's
us with that.
mental.
That was big.
I think that's yeah, mental sensory overload till everything just starts to explode, and so you no longer have control because it's almost like you remember those old school plugs and remember the push button light
Yeah,
switches and everything, and it would
yeah.
shock you. We've been shocked mentally because we're not mindful of the static electricity. We're not mindful of our emotional electricity that's going on all around us, and we're stimulated mentally, physically, emotionally, and so it gets to be too much for us. And so now we're snapping back. Now we're angry, and if we get too far along, it goes into rage and all of that. And anger and rage are secondary emotions to not dealing with primary problems.
Marty, you kill. You know what? I think your hat. may be that Superman suit. I think that's a part of your Superman suit. Now I thought I've always had this thing for your mind. I think you are creative. I think you one of the smartest men I ever met. But it was not until you donned that hat this evening, my brother, that baby, that some stuff started coming out. So now you've given us not only with us talking about the topic, not only with us
Hmm.
just getting to talk thoroughly about it, but you've given
Hmm.
us some truths. But are there some tips though that can
Most
aid
definitely.
us? That can help us in this. Now we're conscious of being mindful.
Yes,
What's the
yes.
conduct? What's the conduct?
I
What can
love
we
it.
do?
I love it. Some of the tips that we can definitely do in being mindful. One of my favorite ones is basic breathing techniques. There's several breathing techniques I like doing. I will breathe in, hold it, and then breathe out. And I'm going to say breathe in through your nose, hold it for about 5 seconds, and breathe out through your mouth. And there's some other mental things that I do. I'll remind myself breath work is so important because it gets our heartbeat back on tune. And I say this all the time. In couples therapy and in anger management, I will share that if your heartbeat is over 120 beats per minute, you no longer have the capacity or the ability to think rationally. And
Wow.
so if we're so busy, that's why breath work is so important, because now you're gaining control over your heartbeat, you're slowing things down, you're getting oxygen to your brain. So now I can have
Hmm.
some mental clarity, and now I'm not as much mentally exhausted. So definitely breath work and breathing work is
Wow.
great with that. And
Wow.
and one of
But
my
you know
other
what?
favorite ones, go ahead.
Yes, I no, I was just gonna say, even when you're exercising, and as
Yes.
I used to run track, my body don't tell the truth about it, but that was one of the things that they would do to help us to
Yes.
get our heartbeat and help our bodies begin to
That's right.
heal because of the stresses that we did. We
Yes.
had do that breathing, and even when women are in amazing travail and pain
Yes.
at
At
childbirth. They
childbirth.
teach you to
Yes.
breathe
Breathing.
because there's not only a heart response, but a bodily response, and your
Co-
mind is
Yes.
focused as well. And so
Mind
that's profound.
over mood. Yes. Because when we're
Yeah.
breathing out, you're teaching, see how your shoulders go down. And so you're teaching your body to release everything that you had pinned up in it. And so
Yeah.
everything now contracts and it relaxes. And so that you can think more clearly. There's a wonderful exercise that I love called the five senses that I will also do. I will first start with what are five things that I see, and I call them out. I see you on the camera. I see this monitor. I see my microphone right here. I will call out five things, and then I will do four things that I feel. Now, what I do, I feel the hat on my head. I feel the sweater on my shoulders. I feel my feet in my shoes. I feel the socks on my feet that's in my shoes. And so then I do three things that I hear. I hear my voice. I hear the humming from my light. I hear whatever, something else going on. I'll do two things that I smell. I smell the air freshener, and I smell the air conditioner, or the heat that's going on. And then one thing that I taste, and I just was drinking a soda, so I taste that. And what that does, it slows us down long enough to begin to trick our minds and not concentrating on the problem, but now we're concentrating on the things we're telling our mind to concentrate on. So I now slow my heartbeat down long enough so I can start now having a real rational thought and mindset. Then after I do what I call the five senses, and that I will follow up and do some of those breathing exercises and find myself now calm, relaxed, and now ready to do. And you can do that in less than 5 minutes. Less than five
Wow.
minutes
Man, that that
makes a huge
that
difference.
I'm sure it does, and I thank God that that tip was for free, because normally folk got to pay $150 an hour for them kind of tips. This is priceless, Marty. I'm telling you, this is absolutely priceless, because you're helping us with this mindfulness. Is there any other
Yes.
thing about being mindful that can help us?
Yes. It's the beginning of the year. Let's be mindful of the food intake and what we take in. And definitely we know that processed foods also, I believe this is Marty's theory, and there are some other work there. Processed foods, we're eating too much processed foods, a lot of sugary foods and all of that. That aids and adds to our, depending on your personality and your chemical makeup of your brain, it can add to your depression or it can add to your anxiety. And we know that the more fresh fruits and vegetables that you take in, you have healthier thoughts, you have healthier, your body is acting very differently. So there is a direct correlation by what we eat and how we feel, which then determines our emotions. So if you want to be, yeah. And so that's why we baby, our grandparents were good. They knew it. They just didn't have the medical, baby. They had them greens that they picked from that yard, that them tomatoes, because they were
Yes,
getting all those fresh nutrients. They could take some squash and throw some onions and some tomatoes in there and get some of that
yes,
the bell peppers and some
yes,
onion and potatoes, and you would fill up on that. And maybe
yes,
just have a wing, and but they had healthy foods that they made from
yes.
scratch. That was a
Hmm.
lot better than a lot of this processed food that we're getting to get today. So what we eat, and the third one I definitely want to do is this. I love mindful walks, that we take some time just to walk. So those
Yes,
would be the three tips, because walking then creates the blood flow, gets your heart
yes,
pumping, causes you to breathe in oxygen so you can release that carbon dioxide.
yes.
And so that just gets you breathing and moving too. Very simple, very breathing, eating, and walking. And we won't even
Walking.
talk about sleep and that type of thing, because making sure your sleep patterns are in there as well. Making sure you get the
Yes,
proper sleep, that dictates all of that as well.
yes.
So those are the tips I want to leave today as we're being mindful to help you in the new year.
Marty, this has been priceless to me. I didn't know I was going to learn so much, and be almost convicted a little bit about
Both
being
of us.
careful with myself and
Hmm.
taking those moments to be mindful. And so hopefully this will inspire others to have mindful moments throughout the
Yes.
day. Marty was talking
Yes.
about doing them all day long. Taking some mindful moments, and just as he gave us the one exercise, he said that's less than 5 minutes. Not that it
Hmm.
needed to he didn't need to go to another building. He could be right
Mm-mm.
where he was and do the five senses check. And so you're really teaching us that we can do some real great work with
That's
being
right.
mindful. So then even when we are in some of our counseling and therapeutic times, because we've been mindful, we may actually end up with the capacity to maybe even
Yes.
articulate better some of the
Yes.
feelings and senses and the things that we have going
Yes.
on in our lives. How could that help out some of our counseling and therapeutic personnel that are trying to support us? That if we
Yes.
utilize this thought about being mindful, how that can help us recover and to even provide
Yes.
additional information to those who walk alongside us as well.
Most definitely. The whole point is to help us to increase our emotional intelligence, our EI, in everything we do. And as we increase our emotional intelligence, it allows us now to hone in on those areas of hurt, concern, pain, weaknesses, and that, and and it's to make us stronger in those areas. So then I begin to monitor myself a whole lot better. So I'm mindful when I need to get more rest. I'm mindful when I need to get out there and do some more walking because I'm getting a little stiff and tense. I'm mindful when I need to say, hey, this is kind of stressing me out a little bit. So before I send that email and curse everyone out via text and email, let me just get mindful about, this is not the time to send that. Let me stretch a little. Simple things like rolling your neck and dropping it a little. Just little things like that can make such a huge difference. It doesn't take a whole lot to do, and the more we do it, the better we're going to feel. And I'm doing a challenge for myself, and I'm going to get there, where I'm trying to take at least 5 to 10 minutes every morning before I do anything to wake up, just to ground myself, to sit Indian style in the room in the first thing in the morning and just meditate, just to breathe, just to be mindful that it's a new day, mindful, how's my body feeling? How are my emotional levels today? Am I groggy? Am I tired? Where am I tired? Why am I tired? And to be mindful, what are the important things that I need to accomplish today, so that when the little things come in, I'm not distracted by the arrows, but I'm now grounded by the necessity of the things I need to accomplish in order that my day might be successful.
Wow. Wow. That's this has been an incredible time with you. And I thank God for the gift that you are to all of us. And I'm so grateful God led me to you in this Wellness Wednesdays.
Likewise.
And as we were just trying to discover what to do and how to
Right.
do it, it was my concern, not
Mm-hmm.
only of myself but others that are around. And
Mm-hmm.
I love this talk. And as someone who's busy a lot and who has
Yes.
several ministries that I'm responsible for, and people not only they're right now but they're not yet, and
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's
just
good.
taking some time to be mindful, and the tips you've given us, this breathing thing. Marty, I just was thinking while you were talking about the breathing, that when I have an asthma attack, they say that when you're so stressed, you're breathing at the top of your lungs and never
Yes.
the fullness of your lungs. So then your body never gets the
Gets to,
benefit of your breathing. So when we tell people,
that's
I
good.
can't breathe, it's not that oxygen isn't coming in, it's that we're still at the top of our lungs. And as you're saying, that
Yes.
taking that moment to force that air in, it does something
Yes.
and it makes us mindful. And so when I go in and they put the mask on me, they'll say breathe deep, because
Yes.
they're trying
Deep.
to get, yes, yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
they're
And
trying to
so
get
you're right.
healing.
Get that from that shallow breathing to deep
Yes,
breathing. So now
yes,
you're right. So you can get healing to the whole
yes.
body.
Yes, yes. And so that was my last thing, because I was thinking about that as you were sharing.
Yes.
And I'm like, I think there's so many of us that are just breathing right at the top of our lungs, that
Right.
you teaching us about mindful breathing. Yes, you
Uh-huh.
teaching us about that mindful breathing just will change and shift how our bodies react and respond to us, as well, especially
Totally.
in stressful situations. And then, Marty, we
Yes.
live in a time where we're always multitasking. Because I know you're probably
Yes.
right now in the back of your mind or another portion of your mind saying, what is my daughter doing? I got to make sure that some other things are going on. And the same for me, that we're always in
Yes.
this multi state, and mindfulness recenters us
Yes.
back on our own existence.
That's right. It's so important because multitasking is not always healthy. And we brag about our ability to be able to multitask. But oftentimes in multitasking, we often don't do a complete and thorough job on the very things that matter and are essential to our well being. And so we do a lot of busy work to things that don't matter and neglect the very things and people that do matter because we're not mindful enough and we're not grounded enough to let the small things go and focus on the bigger things that matter in our lives.
This has been priceless. Thank you, Marty.
It is my pleasure. Dr. Story, as always, I am so grateful to and for you. And we'll make sure that we're mindful not only of each other, but we're mindful of the things we are doing as well. And as always, Dr. Story, for those who are not already following you, I don't know why they would not be following you. How can we continue to follow you and stay abreast of all the amazing things? Because 2023, my dear, is your year, the year of you releasing books and your journals and
Yeah.
everything else. I'm so excited for you. So how can we continue to follow you? And please share about your free I don't know how you give out stuff for free because I'm charging ninjas in 2023. Your free workbook that you have out.
Well, you can follow me at Dr. Margarita Story on Facebook and on the gram. Uh, if you go on to Dr. Margarita Story, there is a free download there. It requires that you email us and then you'll get the full picture of it. But it is one that I hope is a great resource to start your year out
Yes.
and to make you mindful of where you
Yes.
desire to go, some of the things you want to see changed in your life, some goals and some objectives that you have for yourself, setting smart goals at the top of the year, just being
That's
mindful,
good.
just being
Yes.
mindful.
Yes. Well, Dr. Story, as always, we appreciate you and love you. Cannot wait to see what else these Wednesdays and Wellness Wednesdays bring. And Happy New Year, darling. Happy New
Happy New Year
Year.
to you.
Yes, as always. And as always, we don't want you, as we always say, to continue to secretly suffer in silence in the shadow of shame. But we want you to speak up, speak out, and always live your best life. We will see you in 2 weeks for our next edition of Wellness Wednesdays. Take care and God bless.